You know, we spend a lot of time talking about the major candidates in these races, but the New Hampshire primary is special because it's open to anybody. All you got to do is submit a declaration of candidacy and pay the $1,000 filing fee. That's it, and you're on the ballot. Well, during this cycle's filing period back in October, you had 21 people who filed to be on the Democratic ballot and 24 filed as Republican candidates. Now, on the Democratic side, the contenders come from all over the country. If you look at this list and next to their names, they have where they're from. You got several New England states. You got New Hampshire, Georgia, Texas, Minnesota, Nevada, even California. It is a similar story on the GOP ballot. You can see all the names here. Their hometowns are here as well. There is one New Hampshire candidate on the ballot here, as well as folks from Illinois, South Dakota, Michigan, Ohio. You get the idea. One thing you'll notice about the GOP ballot as well, several major names who are no longer in the race, take Vivek Ramaswamy or Tim Scott, for example, they stay on there. Many of them did campaign in New Hampshire, but state law doesn't allow candidates to take their names off the ballot once the filing period closes.
And without President Biden on the First in the Nation primary ballot, supporters are running a write-in campaign. Of course, Biden opted not to put his name on the ballot after he and the DNC pushed for South Carolina to have the first vote. But New Hampshire law says our state will hold the first primary, so it's happening in spite of the DNC's efforts. Today, California Congressman Ro Khanna visited the Granite State on behalf of that write-in effort. He says President Biden has made significant progress during his term and that he is needed to lead the country for the next 4 years.
There are people who I've talked to who say, look, they're frustrated at the DNC and the order, but that's not how you pick the leader of the free world. That's not how you pick the leader for the nation. They're looking at the whole picture, and President Biden is the best person to lead right now, given the complex situations in the Middle East, given Ukraine, given his economic vision.
And despite New Hampshire Democrats being frustrated with the DNC, Khanna believes abortion and the economy will motivate voters to head to the polls to vote for President Biden in the write-in.
Now it's time to get the facts. As we have been all election season long, we're fact-checking the claims made by candidates on both sides of the aisle. We're joined here in studio with PolitiFact's Amy Sherman. So Amy, thanks for being here live with us. It's great to have you in person. We want to start with a claim made by President Joe Biden. He recently compared former President Trump's performance when it comes to job creation when Trump was in office to Herbert Hoover's. And we have the soundbite here.
He wants to see the stock market crash. You know why? He doesn't want to be the next Herbert Hoover. As I told him, he's already Hoover. He's the only president to be president for 4 years and lose jobs, not gain any jobs. Come on, man.
All right, so obviously Hoover was president during the stock market crash of '29 and then the following Great Depression. PolitiFact looked into this, and you found that on paper, Biden's claim does hold up in terms of the ranking in terms of job creation for presidents over the last 100 years or so, but it's lacking a major piece of context, if you want to explain that.
Correct. So the numbers are right, but what Biden's omitting here is that whether a president sees job losses or gains really depends on a lot of luck and timing. And what Biden omitted here was that Trump was the president during the COVID-19 pandemic. So, of course, jobs went way down. And that meant that in total, Trump saw about a 2.7 million net job loss. Now, on the other hand, Biden benefited from great timing. He came in as the pandemic was receding in January 2021, and the job numbers went back up.
Yeah, as you point out, a lot of the presidents like to take credit when the numbers are going well, but the experts you talk to say it really does come down to a lot of luck with all of this. But in terms of the ranking itself, Biden was correct in terms of where Trump ended up on that list of presidents?
He was correct on his general point,
yeah.
But economists warn that it's not so simple to give credit or blame on job increases or losses because the same thing would have happened to any president who was in charge during a pandemic.
All right, Amy, we have more fact checks to come. Thank you so much.
And President Biden might not be on the ballot here, but there are two other major Democratic candidates. Author Marianne Williamson joined us for a special live edition of Close Up this morning, where she was asked about her stance on the situation in Israel.
Hamas must go. There's no question about that. The issue is the current situation of the indiscriminate bombing of Gaza. There is a legitimate argument that with every Hamas you kill, you create 10 more. But we need both.
And Williamson also believes there's no military solution in Israel, saying the United States needs to work together with Arab powers to establish a two-state solution to stop Hamas. And Congressman Dean Phillips of Minnesota was also here in our WMUR studios this morning for Close Up. He responded to Nikki Haley's comments on America not being a country founded on racism.
Come on. We know our past. Let's not ignore it, but let's do better moving forward. So if we become a party predicated on litigating the past rather than focusing on the solutions for the future to rectify those mistakes and that injustice, then we're in big trouble.
Both Phillips and Marianne Williamson have events planned across the state tomorrow ahead of Tuesday's primary. In campaigning, it has been cold this weekend, but it will ease up a little bit for Election Day. We're also watching a bit of snow and the timing of that. Let's check in with Jackie now at when to expect it and how you can plan out your vote for the day.
For voters on Tuesday, most of the day will be dry and quiet, especially the further north you go. And the morning hour is going to feature a little bit of sunshine. It'll be chilly, temperatures in the 20s, but then we see temperatures rebound back above freezing during the day. Clouds quickly take over, but highs should reach the 30s. A closer look regionally all across the state on Tuesday. As you head southeast, highs reach the upper 30s. Clouds fill in, and then by 4, 5, 6 o'clock, we start to see snow showers develop. Southwest, snow showers move in by 4, 5, 6 o'clock as well. So later in the evening, snow showers will be coming down. Highs in the 30s across the lakes region, and snow showers develop later in the day, while up north you stay mainly dry with plenty of clouds. Highs in the 20s to near 30 degrees. So not as chilly for Tuesday.
Isn't that good news?
Yes, January days go. That's not bad.
It has been really cold for the candidates and everybody going to the events. But yes, we are on the backside of that. So that is good news that warmer temps are coming up. And New Hampshire takes center stage for the whole country during the First in the Nation primary. Even the biggest celebrities come on out for a front row seat.
New Hampshire's really the key. This is the place that upsets are made.
The greatest political experience of my life is right here in New Hampshire.
I want especially to thank New Hampshire.
No. He won fair and square, but I beat him in Dixville Notch, okay?